was 30,000 hours in 1996, to 40,729 hours in 2003 and 50,000 hours in 2016. There have been several engine failures in the early service of the CFM56 family which were serious enough to either ground the fleet or require aspects of the engine to be redesigned. The engines have also suffered, periodically, from thrust instability events tentatively traced to Honeywell's hydromechanical unit. Rain and hail ingestion, edit. There are several recorded incidents of CFM56 engines flaming out in heavy rain and forward/or hail conditions, beginning early in the CFM56's career. In 1987, a double flameout occurred in hail conditions. The pilots managed to relight the engines, followed by the TACA Flight 110 incident in 1988. Both CFM56 engines on the TACA 737 flamed out while passing through hail and heavy rain, and the crew was forced to land without engines on a grassy ravine near New Orleans, Louisiana. CFMI modified the engines by adding a sensor to force the combustor to continuously ignite under these conditions. In 2002, Garuda Indonesia Flight 421 had to ditch in a river because of hail-induced engine flameouts, killing a flight attendant and injuring dozens of passengers. Prior to this accident, there were several other incidents of single or dual flameouts due to these weather conditions. After 3 incidents through 1998, CFMI made modifications to the engine to improve the way in which the engine handled hail ingestion. The major changes included a modification to the fan forward/booster splitter, making it more difficult for hail to be ingested by the core of the engine, and the use of an elliptical, rather than conical, spinner at the intake. These changes did not prevent the 2002 accident, and the investigation board found that the pilots did not follow the proper procedures for attempting to restart the engine, which contributed to the final result. Recommendations were made to better educate pilots on how to handle these conditions, as well as to revisit FAA rain and hail testing procedures. No further engine modifications were recommended. Fan blade failure, edit. One issue that led to accidents with the CFM56-3C engine was the failure of fan blades. This mode of failure led to the Kegworth air disaster in 1989, which killed 47 people and injured 74 more. After the fan blade failed, the pilots mistakenly shut down the wrong engine, resulting in the damaged engine failing completely when powered up for the final approach. Following the Kegworth accident, CFM56 engines fitted to a Danair 737-400 and a British Midland 737-400 suffered fan blade failures under similar conditions. Neither incident resulted in a crash or injuries. After the second incident, the 737-400 fleet was grounded. At the time it was not mandatory to flight test new variants of existing engines, and certification testing failed to reveal vibration modes that the fan experienced during the regularly performed power climbs at high altitude. Analysis revealed that the fan was being subjected to high cycle fatigue stresses worse than expected and also more severe than tested for certification. These higher stresses caused the blade to fracture. Less than a month after grounding, the fleet was allowed to resume operations once the fan blades and fan disc were replaced and the electronic engine controls were modified to reduce maximum engine thrust to 22,000 lbf, 98 kN, from 23,500 lbf, 105 kN. The redesigned fan blades were installed on all CFM56-3C1 and CFM56-3B2 engines, including over 1,800 engines that had already been delivered to customers. In August 2016, Southwest Airlines Flight 3472 suffered a fan blade failure, but landed later without further incident. While the aircraft sustained substantial damage, there were no injuries. On the 17th of April, 2018, Southwest Airlines Flight 1380 suffered from what appears to be a fan blade failure, debris from which punctured a window. The Boeing 737-700 landed safely, but one passenger was killed and several were injured. Fuel flow problems, edit. Airlines have reported 32 events involving sudden instability of thrust at various points during flight, including high thrust settings during climb to altitude. The problem has been long-standing. In 1998, two 737 pilots reported that their engine throttle suddenly increased to full thrust during flight. A very recent investigation has led to the tentative conclusion that the problem originates in the hydromechanical unit, and may involve an unacceptable level of fuel contamination, with water, or particulate matter, including biodegradable material that creates solids in the fuel, or overuse of biocides to reduce bacterial growth. Boeing told Aviation Week and Space Technology that CFM International had revised its FADEC software. The new software reduces the duration and degree of thrust instability events by cycling the fuel monitoring valve, FMV, and the EHSV, electro-hydraulic servo valve, to clean the EHSV spool. This software fix is not intended to be a definitive solution to the problem. CFM claimed that no further reports have reached it after this change was made. Parts of unknown origin, edit. According to Bloomberg, European aviation regulators have determined that London-based AOG Technics, majority owned by José Zamora Urala, whose nationality is listed as British on some forms and Venezuelan on others, supplied parts of unknown origin and false documents for repairs on CFM56s. Applications, edit. 1 Airbus A320 family. 1 Airbus A318. 2 Airbus A340. 3 Boeing 707-700, prototype only. 4 Boeing 737 Classic. 5 Boeing 737 Next Generation. 1 Boeing 737 AEW and C. 2 Boeing C-40 Clipper. 3 Boeing P-8 Poseidon. 6 Boeing Business Jet. 7 Boeing E-3D Sentry. 8 Boeing E-6 Mercury. 9 Boeing KC-135R Stratotanker. 1 Boeing RC-135. 2 Boeing WC-135. 10 McDonnell Douglas DC-8 Super 70. Specifications, edit. Variant -2-3-5-5B-5C-7B. Type dual rotor, axial flow, high bypass ratio turbofan. Compressor 1 fan, 3 LP, 9 HP 1 fan, 4 LP, 9 HP 1 fan, 3 LP, 9 HP. Combustor annular, double annular 4-5B/2 and -7B/2 DAC. Turbine 1 HP, 4 LP 1 HP, 5 LP 1 HP, 4 LP. Control hydromechanical and limited electronic dual FADEC. Length 243 cm, 96 in, 236.4 cm, 93.1 in, 242.2 cm, 95.4 in, 259.97 cm, 102.35 in, 262.2 cm, 103.2 in, 250.8 cm, 98.7 in. Width 183 centimeter, 72-79 in, 201.8 centimeters, 79.4 in, 190.8 centimeters, 75.1 in, 190.8 centimeters, 75.1 in, 194.6 centimeters, 76.6 in, 211.8 centimeters, 83.4 in. Height 214-216 centimeter, 84.
Yes, let's stop or lead the break.